AMD recently launched the B450 chipset for their new Ryzen 2 CPUs, which gives us a nice option under the X470 motherboards. For my first B450 board, we'll be taking a look at the MSI Tomahawk and seeing what features it's got to offer. The ATX board has a nice clean black and grey metallic colour scheme. Nothing flashy going on here. There is some RGB lighting toward the top right hand side, and this can be controlled using MSI's LightSync software. In total, there are about 10 different built-in effects, but you can always turn it off if you don't like it. Starting with the I/O, from left to right there's a BIOS flashback button, your classic PS2 port, two USB 2.0 Type A ports, DVI-D and HDMI 1.4 outputs, which are only usable if you're using an APU with Vega graphics, two USB 3.1 Gen 1 Type A ports, Gigabit Ethernet port, USB 3.1 Gen 2 Type A and Type C ports, followed by the audio ports using Realtek ALC892. There's also this black and white I/O shield included. At the center of the board is the AM4 socket, which supports both AMD's new Ryzen 2 CPUs, but is also compatible with the first generation too. And for my testing, I'm using the Ryzen 7 2700 CPU with the stock cooler. Next to the socket are the 4 memory slots, which run in dual channel, and can support up to 64GB of memory at DDR4 2666 speeds. In my system, I'm just running two 8GB sticks, as it's what I've got available, and with overclocking you can run up to DDR4 3466. I've heard that with the second generation of Ryzen, memory support has been improved. So compared to say B350, you should have better luck with memory overclocking. But as mentioned, I don't have any exciting memory, so wasn't able to test that out. As for the PCIe slots, from the top down there's a PCIe 3.0 slot with X16 speed, although if you're using Vega graphics from an APU then you're looking at X8 speed, and this top slot is also reinforced with metal. The rest of the slots are all PCIe 2.0, and we've got 3 X1 slots, and another X16 slot, although it's only wired for X4 speed, giving us support for two-way crossfire, no mention of SLI though. Just above the PCIe slots is the single M.2 slot, which is another change from the B350 version, which had it covered by a graphics card in the top PCIe slot. It uses 4 lanes of PCIe 3, and supports drives of these lengths. It's important to note that if you use this M.2 slot, then the two SATA connections on the right will not be usable. Along the top, there's an 8-pin power connector, CPU fan, and RGB header. Along the right-hand side, there's 4 SATA 3 connectors, fan header, 24-pin power connector, followed by another fan and pump header. Finally, along the bottom, there's the front panel audio, second RGB header, another fan header, TPM connector, 2 USB 2.0 connectors, followed by a single USB 3 connector. The B350 model did have 2 of these, so not sure why they've needed to step down to 1. And then 2 more SATA 3 connectors for a total of 6. Using the SATA ports, there's support for RAID 0, 1 or 10, and you can also use AMD's Store MI with the board, which basically uses an SSD to cache frequently accessed items from a hard drive, resulting in faster overall performance. Finally, for the last of the I/O, there's a 6th fan header just above the M.2 slot. To boot into the BIOS, simply press the delete key during boot. I found it fairly easy to navigate through and make changes, and I had no issues while updating to the latest version noted here, which is what I was testing with. And that basically sums up my experience with the board. Everything just worked for me as expected with no issues. The BIOS can be upgraded easily by copying the update files onto a USB stick, plugging it in, and then pressing the BIOS flashback button on the back of the board. It just takes a few minutes to complete. This feature wasn't present in the B350 model, and gives us the ability to easily upgrade the board, which is really useful given the AM4 socket will be supported until 2020. So when new CPUs come out, you won't have any issues if you buy the board with say 3rd generation Ryzen in the future. With B450 you've got the option of overclocking too. In my testing, I was easily able to get the 2700 to 4GHz on all cores. I didn't do in-depth overclock testing though. We've got 4+2 VRMs here, and I wasn't able to measure the temperatures with hardware info because there didn't seem to be a temperature sensor for the VRM. Here's what the heatsink areas look like at idle using a thermal camera, around the mid-20s. Then with the overclock applied under stress test, this area went up by 20 degrees after an hour. Steve at Hardware Unboxed did some pretty in-depth VRM testing of this board and a number of other B450 boards if you want more information. but he noted there that it performed well compared to the competition. As for the pricing, the MSI B450 Tomahawk motherboard is going for around 189 Australian dollars here in Australia at the time of recording, or 110 US dollars in the US for my international viewers. You can check updated pricing in the description. There are both cheaper and more expensive B450 boards, but overall I think this one is offering pretty good value for the features, and you should be fine running any Ryzen 2 CPU even while overclocked here. It's got decent features for the price, and I think it's got a nice clean look without being too flashy. Let me know what you guys thought down in the comments, and leave a like if you're excited about these new B450 boards becoming available recently. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for future tech videos like this one.